Hello, this is the TradeSite US Stocks and Futures Market Preview for Thursday, the 25th of October 2018 and Friday the 26th. As typically we don't use market previews Thursday night going into Friday because most of the week is played out. The exception to that is if this Thursday ends up being really exciting like Wednesday ended up being, and there's something new to note. So there's a possibility that we'll do one tomorrow night, but let's not bank on it yet. Here's the ES front month futures contract, daily chart of the broad market in futures form. And as you can see, yeah, so we really dropped and finally broke the lows of the last month. But this is a crash pattern, right? Obviously, this is what the 87 crash looked like. This is what 2008 looked like. This is how it begins. So, that doesn't mean we have to crash and go as dramatic as those, but you certainly don't want to be sitting around holding stocks right now. And I think we've made that clear. We had some very significant signals. Rich talked about the fact that when we made new highs about a month ago on the S&P, we did not make new highs on the advanced decline ratio for the first time. That's usually a sell signal. We had the trend 10-day moving average close under 0.85 4 days in a row right up there at the top. That's the sell signal. And so it's all coming to bear out at this point in time. Let's go through the major indices on the daily charts, then we'll look at the intraday action, then we'll talk about the economic data that's left for the week, and there's a key number on Friday. Having said that, I'm not sure the key number can come in good, but I am continuing to hear stories that Christmas is not going to be very good from a retail and economic perspective. All right, so let's look at crude oil down 37 cents to 66.45. So oil is not the problem. Gold up $6 even to 12.37. That is on the rise compared to where it's been. The S&P cash index lost 84.59, closed at 26.5610. And the reason that's an interesting number, 2673.61 was the close of the S&P last year at the end of the year, December 31st, or the last trading day anyways of last year. So we are now down 16, 17 points for the year with this close. So the year has gotten us nowhere in the markets, which is kind of what I predicted. Nasdaq side down 329 points. That's the Nasdaq 100. It is still up a little for the year, but at this point, one more day like this could erase what's left. So just be aware of that, and you end up with a negative year across the board. That'll be interesting. SOX loses 81.20. This thing's just beat up, right? I mean, this is horrible. Look at this crack. This is the major crack of the lows of the year. So this thing's given up not just the year, but a lot more. This looks really ugly. Biotech's down 215.57. Again, not at this point, not up for the year if you go back to December, but it's not at the lows of the year yet. It was lower in April and May, but it can easily get there with not much more of a downside move. The Russell 2000 has been getting beaten up since a little bit sooner than the S&P, which is usually what happens, and it now looks like it's given up the whole year. So again, this is going to be a negative year for the stock market. The VIX gains 4.52, closing at 25.23. The trend 1.9. It's a high reading on the trend. That puts the 10-day moving average at 1.13. Nasdaq volume basically 2.9 billion shares. So again, the down days have been seeing big volume. The up days have not. Let's be clear about that. Advanced decline ratio on the Nasdaq negative 2,061. Second worst day of the year. Advanced decline ratio in New York negative 1675. It's only like in the top 20 for the worst days of the year, but still we've had 5 of the top 20 all here in the last 3 weeks. Google finally loses $57.79. Apple down $7.64. Netflix down 33.33, and that's a new low for the last 6 months. Amazon loses $104.50. There's nothing pretty about any of this, folks, and this is where you start to get people that are in. Like, remember, everybody that's been in these stocks buying them for the last 3 months, 4 months, 5 months now is underwater completely. They try to average down once, assuming there's a bounce and we don't get it. They're going to sell and be in trouble lower, and that doesn't even count margin calls. So this is why you don't get involved in buying the market in these scenarios. Tesla down $5.64 after that big up day that bounced it off the lows yesterday. The bonds, the 20-year bonds, TLT up 86 cents. Goldman Sachs down $9.38. There's been new lows. This thing's been down for the year, all year practically, except for the first 3 months. Facebook down $8.35. We made some money there today. All right, if we look at the intraday action, so it was kind of a flat opening overall. I mean, nothing special. Slow decline early, didn't turn into much, and it was after lunch. We tried to bounce a little bit, a little buy program right there after lunch at 1400, and then it was the sell-off after that that just cost us. If you look at the Nasdaq side, not much different. Again, no gaps left, and then it was the late day sell-off. So this is how the sell-offs happen. It's the late day selling that you have to be worried about. All right, in terms of economic data that is left this week, Thursday we've got the core durable goods trade balance, preliminary wholesale inventories, and the weekly initial and continuing jobless claims numbers an hour before the bell. Pending home sales 30 minutes in, natty gas an hour in. On Friday, this is the big one, the advanced look at GDP for the third quarter. It's expected to be an annualized 3.3%, which isn't that great. And we've got revised University of Michigan sentiment. Now, even if that number comes in higher or lower, it really doesn't matter because the market is not reacting to the old numbers. The market is predicting the new numbers, and the market's starting to show you signs that it thinks there's some problems ahead for the economy, which is as expected when you've done some of the things we've done. All right, charts as usual brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple of weeks. Have a great trading Thursday and Friday. Maybe you'll hear from us tomorrow night.